Okay, hi everyone. I'm Adam Berezin from MSDW, and I'd like to welcome you all to today's webcast, Built-in versus Bolt-on, the Future of Content Management in D365 Business Central, brought to you by our friends at SignUp Software. So before we get started, just want to give a quick reminder, if you have questions during the session, please feel free to drop them into the chat box, and we'll address them after the session ends via email. Also want to make a quick note that we will be recording this session, and it should be available on MSDW for on-demand viewing within the next day or so. So without further delay, Patrick, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Great. Thank you, Adam, and thank you, MS Dynamic World, for allowing us to present to you folks here. My name is Patrick Nguyen. I'm the Senior Partner Sales Executive here at SignUp Software. Been in the software industry for 23 years, 17 of which has been in the content and document business process automation space. So do have a lot of experience in this space as it relates to content and document management. Joining me on today's webinar is Nemanja. You want to introduce yourself?
Thank you, Patrick. I'm Nemanja Blešić, Principal Application Consultant at SignUp Software. I work with our partners and clients to ensure successful implementations of software solutions we offer in the space of Office of the CFO. And I will be presenting you with our content management solution today.
Thank you, Nemanja. Moving on, today's agenda, what we're going to cover, we just did introductions. We're going to talk about the content conundrum that Business Central users and people using Business Central have as it relates to content and document management. White Content Gate, we're going to cover ExFlow Content Gate today. We're going to jump into a live demonstration and really allowing you to put your content under control, and then we'll discuss next steps. So the content conundrum with Business Central. Business Central allows you to store a certain amount of content in documents as it relates to different screens and transactions. But what's the accessibility and the archival of those documents and content? And then what if you have actionable items and things you need to route things around, right? What about collation of documents, being able to get all your documents in one view? Right? Whether it's to handle vendor or customer inquiries, or maybe you need to see documents as it relates to a job or a project you're working on all together, right? That's not easily done today within Business Central because, sure, you could store documents and content within Business Central, but everything is linked to that screen that you're on. You can't collate and bring them all together in one single view, in a single source of truth. And we're really gonna, Content Gate really helps you with that. What about versioning of documents, right? You may have documents such as contracts or content that have different versions to them. They get edited before they're finalized, before they're signed off on. So Content Gate allows you to store and manage different versions of content as well as documents. And think about your organization, right? Most organizations go through an audit, whether it's if you're in different industries, you may have audits not only by your accounting firm, but you may have audits, government audits, and different depending on the industry you're in. So having an easy way to gather all your documents, our powerful search and retrieval capability really allows you and your organization to streamline your audit process. And then management of the storage. With Business Central, you store everything through there, but with Content Gate, sure, we integrate and fully embedded inside Business Central, but the storage is outside. We could store things whether it's in SharePoint or through the Azure Blob, so you really don't bog down and take up the space within your Business Central database. And then the key thing is use existing IT investments like SharePoint if you're using SharePoint already. So the benefits, why Content Gate? Why ExFlow Content Gate? Well, think about being able to confidently complete your task with the information that you need and nothing that you don't automatically. and things are available to you in a single click. You truly have a comprehensive content and document visibility with Content Gate. It reaches across the different companies that your organization may have. You might have multiple companies, or obviously you'll have multiple different groups and departments. So being able to reach across the different groups, department, and the silos throughout your organization and pull information together to easily complete and quickly complete your task, your day-to-day task, and have accurate information. That's the key. And that's where the huge value is. And rest assured, knowing that anyone who touches your organization's content or document is drawing from the same source in real time. With Content Gate, any collaboration between the different teams, the different companies that you have, the different departments, whether it's across the different business units, or even folks that don't have access to Business Central, they can access documents and content from a single source and content truth. At the end of the day, it puts every user in command and control position when it comes to content with Content Gate. It eliminates any confusion, costly mistakes, and wasted time to search and retrieve documents. And if you have different versions of documents or content, which version is the right one, right? We manage it and track that all for you. Really empowers the users with exactly the information they need to complete their duties, their day-to-day tasks, without requiring them to dig through filing cabinets or dig through multiple screens to access the information. Content Gate, the principal design is, think about all the different uses of Business Central that you have, right? Having one central system where it manages, with ExFlow Content Gate, embedded across the different functionality within Business Central. Think about your supply chain management, your purchasing department, your finance and accounting department with your payables and receivables, managing documents as it relates to vendors, as it relates to customers, your sales department, managing sales orders or quotes, things like that. What about your field service folks that are on the road managing, doing field service, whether you're an HVAC organization or you're a project management, you're a construction business, and on site at a construction site, you need to access content and document. And then, of course, having integration with different Power Apps. But at the end of the day, all the storage, like I said, is through the Azure Blob or through Microsoft SharePoint. So single source of truth with real-time data. Seamless integration with and collaboration with all your different departments. Think about all the different departments that you have throughout your organization that touches Business Centrals or has documents that they need, or in content that they need to manage, whether it's documents and content tied to a customer, a vendor. It could be contracts. It could be purchase orders, sales order documents. It could be project related. For a project manager, he or she may have different documents for different projects that they need to store and manage and track based on a project number. Think about being able to collate all those documents in one single source of truth in one view. It could be on the sales side. It could be obviously on the accounting side, managing documents as it relates to and content as it relates to vendors, to customers, W-9s, contracts, and different versions of contracts. So really, Content Gate becomes the central part of managing all your documents and content as it relates to everything within your organization. Some screenshots I want to walk through before we go into the live demo, but think about a single source of truth for all your content. Here's an example of a vendor, a sample vendor within Dynamics 365 Business Central, organization called Fabricam. You could see documents under the vendor card. All the documents are related to this vendor, as an example, right? Really easy, one single place where you could view all your documents as it relates to vendor, but then we also link to the different transactions as well. So ExFlow Content Gate is truly a dynamic business model. business entity model. So think about all the different business units or business entities that you have throughout your organization. You may have one company, or you may have 100 companies, or tens of companies or entities set up. You can view and collate documents and access documents that are related to the different entities. It could be vendor related, it could be customer related, where you're able to find documents and content and share documents and content across the different business units very easily. And we'll touch more on that. And you'll also have advanced inquiry and querying. You can create different views within ExFlow Content Gate with advanced entity models, do save views and save searches, and have more complex and detailed content querying with our system as well. So very easy to extract and view data as it relates to content and documents that are stored through ExFlow Content Gate. Going back to that vendor view of Fabricam, just an example of all the documents that you see here, and you're able to view, let's on the vendor NDA, you see the NDA right from your screen, and you could even track different versions of the NDA. Maybe the NDA gets edited, gets adjusted before it's finalized and signed off on. You could track all the different versions through Content Gate, and then see the most current one. Obviously, it's going to be signed, but it's more than just contracts. You can have standard operating procedures. You can have content that is as it relates to like a job or a project you're working on, diagrams, things like that. So whether it's any editable document, you could track different versions and content of it. Moving on, another document that you could see, here's an example of a delivery receipt, right? Really easy to just click on it, open it, see the view of the document right here from the screen. And with that, I am going to turn things over to Nemanja. Let's go dig right into Content Gate inside Business Central. Really learn how you can put your content under control with ExFlow Content Gate. Nemanja?
Thank you, Patrick. I'm assuming you can see my Business Central environment on your screens. What we are going to do next is take a look at the system in action and see what Patrick actually described in the introduction part. As mentioned, all ExFlow products are fully embedded within Business Central. So your users do not need to learn another software solution to handle documents. It all becomes a single source of truth within Business Central for your document management, which allows for easy collaboration, filtering, searching for documents, and better collaboration between users working with that content throughout the system. We can use it on purchasing side, on sales side, on projects in Business Central. And we can see documents uploaded to different master records and documents in Business Central without having to leave the card or document we are currently on, which saves us time and provides, again, single source of information. Let's take a look at it first from purchasing side of things. If we go to vendor card in Business Central and open one of them, directly from the vendor card, we can see Content Gate button available on the action bar. Opening Content Gate, we will see all documents, whether they were uploaded to the vendor card directly for Phenomenal Products vendor, but we can also see documents that are uploaded to related purchase orders for this same vendor. So without having to leave vendor card, find purchase orders, and then look for attachments on those POs, we can see those documents directly from this same single view. We can use this area on the left-hand side to filter on documents that are directly uploaded to the vendor, or we can search for documents on a specific purchase order directly from here. We can even get to the purchase order from Content Gate page if we want to see purchase order and potentially work with it. One other reason I'm opening purchase order card within Business Central is to demonstrate that documents that were loaded to the vendor are also visible from purchase order. So if we go to Content Gate from PO this time, we can see documents loaded to purchase order directly, but we can also see documents that were loaded to the vendor. So if we need some information from these documents, again, we don't have to leave purchase order, open the vendor card, look for attachments to get that information. It's all easily accessible throughout the system if those records and documents are linked as purchase order and vendor are. Okay, let's go back to the vendor card so we can talk about other functional areas of Content Gate. It allows for easy filtering and searching of documents that user might need. Using the left-hand side menu, as we saw earlier, we can filter on document it was loaded to or master record in Business Central. We can also use document categories to search for specific documents. We can also filter based on which user uploaded them to Business Central. Or if we prefer to use it based on the date they were uploaded, we can also do that. We can even use specific dates if we need to. Or we can use file type. So if we know that document is in PDF, we can filter on that and find that document easily, or combine multiple filters together to find what we are looking for. In addition to filtering options, there is also search functionality. So if there is a big number of documents and we want to search for it based on the document name, we can easily do that as well. We can also sort documents based on their category, date they were created or uploaded to Business Central, their size and title, and we can do that in ascending or descending order. All of this is to help us find the document we need and make it efficient for the user. When it comes to adding additional documents to Business Central, it's as easy as just dragging and dropping the document in this Content Gate area, which opens a page where we can give a name to that file, so we can find it in the system. And at the same time, we can give it a category, which, as we could see, helps with filtering later on. So we can provide a title for the document and then select category for it, and then upload it to Business Central. As Patrick mentioned, these documents are visible to users within Business Central, but they are actually stored outside of BC, and they are not consuming allocated BC storage space that comes with your subscription. So you don't have to worry about exceeding it. since documents are residing in Azure Blob Storage or SharePoint, depending on your preference and your configuration. We can also use add button here if we prefer to do it that way instead of dragging and dropping files. So we can select them from our computer. In addition to adding files, we can also add web links. So if we want to specify a web link that is useful to users where they can find information related to this process or record, we can easily add it from here. All with the goal to make it easy for the users to get information that is necessary to perform their duties. If we want to remove a document or a web link from Business Central, it's as easy as selecting the button here. We can also download documents, one or multiple at the same time, by selecting them and downloading them from here. We can easily see all these documents without having to download them first, as it usually happens in Business Central. Content Gate allows the preview of all these documents, where we can see its title in Business Central and category again. If the user has the permission to change the title and category, these can be modified. We can also see information about the file and also the master record or document type it was loaded to in Business Central. As Patrick mentioned, we also support versioning of these documents. So if you need to update a version of this agreement, if versioning is enabled in Azure Blob Storage or SharePoint, users will be able to see multiple versions of the same document and the most recent one. If versioning is not enabled, then a new file will simply replace the old version of it. Okay, let's go back to this page. So that was about different options for users to search for relevant documents, and also how they are related between vendor card that they were loaded and also related purchase order for that vendor. We can also look at this functionality from the sales side of things. So if we go to one of our customers, we will see a similar thing if we go to Content Gate page from the customer card. We will be able to see all documents related to the customer directly, but also documents loaded to a sales order, for example, for this same School of Fine Art customer in Business Central. Content Gate users are added from Azure Active Directory, and then we can manage their access to specific types of documents using our Content Gate admin portal. So Content Gate administrator on the client side would determine what type of documents each user should have access to and can add them to these different user groups. So we have the flexibility of managing those permissions. And if we look at entities within Business Central that we can load documents to using Content Gate and have them visible from related entities or records, we can do it on customers, items, jobs or projects within Business Central, purchase orders and their lines, sales orders and their lines, and vendors, as we could see. And then each of those records have the relations with other records or documents within Business Central. And we also have the flexibility of managing these relations to determine what can be seen from what type of record or document within BC. So that covers our walkthrough through Content Gate today. I'm going to turn it over to Patrick again.
Thank you, Nemanja. So you folks that concludes our discussion on Content Gate today. And as you could see, we discussed the value of Content Gate, being able to store and manage all your documents and content for Business Central, whether it's on the vendor side, customer side, it could be contracts, it could be you name it, anything as it relates to a vendor or a customer for a project, any documents and content there, we could store and manage it all within Content Gate. Single source of truth where you're able to easily access through our powerful search and retrieval tool to be able to furnish and view the documents you need to be able to view and access. And think about your audits, right? Audits come up a lot where your auditors may come in and ask for different documentation or a series of documents. How do you access that today? Right? Are you digging, if you're storing things in paper and filing cabinets, you're digging through filing cabinets to get that information. If you're actually storing it electronically in Business Central, it's only linked to the individual transactions, or screens that you're on. If you need to look for particular information, it becomes really tough to collate all those together. With Content Gate, ExFlow Content Gate, you're able to easily search and retrieve for those documents and furnish those documents to your auditor. So really intuitive and powerful tool that's embedded inside Business Central. If you folks have any questions or interested in learning more about ExFlow Content Gate, reach out to myself. My contact information is here, or reach out to Nemanja. We'd be happy to further discuss your needs and requirements and what you're really looking for, and see if we have a good solution for your organization based on your requirements. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, everyone.